Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. Hello, I'm the wolf, Alexander Toot Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, a wolf was making a birthday cake for his dear old granny. He had a terrible sneezing cold and he ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, according to A Wolf, the minute he knocked on the front door, of course it fell right in. He didn't want to walk right into someone else's house, so he called, little pig, are you in? There was no answer, and A Wolf was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for his dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, he huffed and he puffed, and you know what? That whole straw house fell, and right in the middle of the pile was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the entire time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger, just lying there. A wolf was feeling a little bit better, but he still didn't have his cup of sugar, so he went to his next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. He rang the doorbell on the stick house. Nobody answered. He called, Mr. Pig, are you in? Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. A Wolf had just grabbed the doorknob when he felt another sneeze coming on. He huffed and he snuffed. He tried to cover his mouth, but he sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. And Wolf was getting awfully full, but his cold was feeling better, and he still didn't have a cup of sugar for his dear old granny's birthday cake. So he went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house of bricks. He knocked on the brick house. No answer. He called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what the little rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf! Don't bother me again! Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even share one little cup for my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. He huffed and he puffed and he sneezed once again, and the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pig. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting, so they jazzed up the whole story with the huff and a puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed, but maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. And that's the end of the true story of the Three Little Pigs, my Reader's Theater. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.